My name is Joyce Warshaw. I am a former mayor of Dodge City, a former principal at Miller Elementary, and happily retired right now. I was raised pretty much in my younger years, were raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and then my family moved to Atchison, Kansas. I went to college in Pittsburgh, Kansas. My first husband moved me to Dodge City, Kansas, and that's how I ended up in Dodge City. I studied at Pittsburgh State University and got my teaching degree, and I started teaching in Pittsburgh, Kansas, and then moved to Dodge City and taught at Sacred Heart, and then moved to the public schools. And so I've got like 40 plus years of educational experience under me. I started in first grade in the public schools, but I've taught all grade levels in Dodge pretty much because I was part of the ESL program, English as a Second Language. For about 11 years, I was just an ESL director, which meant that I pretty much tested all the kids K through 12 on their language abilities, English language abilities, and where they were in their development. And then I became a principal. Unfortunately, when I went into Miller, they were the lowest in the districts as far as scores, which I don't put a lot of emphasis on scores, but education does. And so they had the lowest scores in the district. There was a lot of behavior problems, just a lot of negativity that surrounded Miller Elementary. So my first 2 years were a lot of hours, a lot of collecting data, a lot of building the culture that I felt we could build at Miller School, meaning I wanted a culture of a team spirit, a family team spirit. I didn't want the principal, then the teachers, and then the students. I wanted us all to be united, and it worked. You know, when I finally left Miller, I was there for 19 years. They were the most requested school in the district, and scores just skyrocketed, and we got awards from the state. And so, yeah, it was a very, very rewarding career. Okay, so my political start, I'm kind of one of these persons, maybe that's why I went into education, because I like to give back. And I felt like Dodge City had given me so much because I went through a horrific divorce in Dodge City, and I raised 3 kids by myself for, probably 4 or 5 years before I remarried. And I felt like Dodge City was there for me. You know, I felt real comfortable there. I felt safe. My professional endeavors were being met there. A position, Mike Weiss left the city commission and moved to Lawrence. And so I wrote a letter of interest, and they accepted me on the commission, and that was in 2012. When I went on the city commission, there were commissioners that had been there for a while, so I kind of turned to them to learn about the procedures. I learned a lot about finance, what makes cities grow, you know, all those types of things. And it was just so rewarding. And I think a lot of my experience as being principal kind of helped me along those lines. I feel like people in general want to be together, that they want to create a team to succeed. And that's kind of the way I looked at the City Commission, is being a part of that team to help Dodge City progress and be all that it could be. I really enjoyed my time on the commission and serving Dodge City. And then in 2016, I was elected mayor.
Approaching closer towards the pandemic time, what happened towards the start of the COVID-19 pandemic? Like, what was the first sort of inkling that COVID was hitting Dodge?
Okay. That was in 2020, and I had just become mayor again for my second term, and it was just frightening all over the nation, as I'm sure you remember. But what was happening in Dodge City and Kansas in particular was that our beef packing plants, because our beef packing plants employ so many people in our area, And because they're so close together, working together, and so on and so forth, the COVID was overtaking the plants, so to speak. And we couldn't, it was frightening. I mean, from a leader's point of view, you're like, how can we control this and get it under control? Because, you know, these people were taking it home, their children were bringing it to school, they were taking it to the grocery store. I mean, it was all over Dodge eventually because so much of our population worked at the beef packing plants. So we look to the county for, well, you look to the state first to see if they will mandate masks or vaccines or whatever, you know. And the state was not ready to do that. So then we looked to the county, and they passed it down to the county. The county would not mandate anything. So then it came to the city. And that's when things got a little dicey, so to speak. There was a vote on the commission towards mask mandates. We decided as a commission to mandate masks.
What was the city's response to that? How did people respond?
Not in a very good way. What our mandate consisted of was that there would be a $25 fine for not wearing a mask. And I was getting all kinds of calls and emails and texts about, oh, this isn't working, people aren't wearing masks. I called the police department. I wasn't so much about fining people for not wearing a mask. I just wanted them to wear a mask in public. And so I asked the police department at that time, I said, is there a way that officers could just randomly, periodically just walk through Walmart or walk through Dillon's, and if they see someone not wearing a mask, hand them a mask and say, it's mandated, you must wear a mask. No fine, no ticket, no write-up, simple as that. And I was told, no, we will not do that. Okay, then how do you support a mandate? I don't know. The night of that, I'll never forget, it was the first part of November. The city had invited people to come in and speak about the masks. We had a lot of people show up that night, and it was pretty ugly in the beginning because we asked everybody when you entered City Hall to put on a mask. Just wear a mask. And they were adamant that they weren't, and even the police were not effective. So we started that way, and people would get up there and speak their beliefs of why masks should not be mandated. And it was just appalling to me because, you know, I understand that wearing a mask is probably not the most comfortable thing in the world. I totally get that, and I respect that. But at the same time, when we are seeing thousands of people nationwide hospitalized and dying of this pandemic, what other options did we have? That's what I was looking for from the people of Dodge. And they got up there and were just preaching to me about, and I'll never forget this because one of my friends, or whom I thought was a friend, got up there and accused me of abusing children by making them wear masks to school. And I thought, my whole life has been around children. I would never abuse a child, you know, and how I was, you know, how a child breaks down and cries when they have to wear a mask. And, you know, and I'm sure her story was her story, so to speak, but I thought, people, you're not getting this. You don't understand. You know, I went home that night and I thought, I just can't, I don't know if I can do this anymore, you know. Also, then right after that meeting, I started getting death threats. I had threats of people were going to come after me. I didn't know what that meant. You need to be gone. You need to be dead. I know where you live. I know your family. I know your daughter, where your daughter lives. You know, just things that were like, why? This is over a mask. Even from as far away as Kentucky. Yes, a guy threatened my life, you know. And I finally thought, you know, I'm retired. I love this city with all of my heart, but I don't need this abuse right now. And that's when I gave up on the city commission. ended up leaving Dodge altogether because, number one, we love this part of the state. I love where I'm at in life right now. We are huge KU basketball fans, like crazy. And so we decided with our retirement that we would rather do KU basketball and Lawrence with our money than travel or whatever. So we came up here and we had an apartment for a while. And then when this all started manifesting, my husband and I looked at each other and we're like, what does Dodge have to offer us anymore? You know, healthcare is almost non-existent in Dodge City. And when you're starting to age, you start thinking about those things. So we just made the determination that we would sell the family home, which was kind of hard because my husband's mom and dad built that house in Dodge City. So it was hard to leave the home, but for our well-beings, both emotionally, mentally, and physically, we felt like this was a better place for us. What do I do now? I do a lot of just whatever I want to do. We live in a great neighborhood. This neighborhood is a small little gated area. We have a lot of social events that we do here in the neighborhood. And then I have volunteered for CASA, which is a court-appointed special advocate for children, which I really, really enjoy. And I spend a lot of time with that. I read a lot. I go to book clubs and yeah, so it's a good life, good life. And I let KU people interview me.
Reflecting on your time in Dodge, do you have any regrets?
Do I have any regrets? You know, I don't think I do. I really don't think I have any regrets at all. You know, I tell people all the time, you've got to experience Dodge City. You just have to go, whether it's during Dodge City days or just a weekend trip. It's an amazing place. It's got a lot of history, and there are some amazing, beautiful people there that have taught me so much. So yeah, I know I have no regrets.